hashtags. I always feel like the sirens are happening all the time now, or they've been doing it and I don't know when they don't. I'm feeling a bit of kind of a debrief or something, or an ending of this moment, this era. I don't know, I'm sounding like Agent Smith. I think his name is, he's the guy who does the, we summon you. That's it.
I hope that your day is going well so far and you're enjoying our game. Thank you for playing the official game of the 2018 World Cup. If you have any feedback on the game, please send it to us by tapping here.
No, I don't. Let's reset.
You know, I think if we could just go with more dancing, maybe that's where they're missing the boat right there. I think there's some really good stuff we can work on with these people, and it seems like they're trying to work on it, but they're working on it in the wrong place. Mr. Entity Generator, please call Mr. Pestilence. I wish for him to come to my parlor. Enterprise is ready to begin boarding now. We've got a live one here. This is what you call a live interview. This lady just told us she saw some strange lights in the sky. What's your name, lady? What trailer park do you live at? And what's your bias towards these lightards? These lights, would you be resigned if they were no or substandard drones or speaker superior Chinese ones? It's almost time for your daily dose of science. We're going to start this program by looking at why some things that seem like they shouldn't mix together really don't. Substances that look like what they mean. Like this substance, which is made up of two parts. But when put together they become something entirely different. This substance is called an epoxy resin. But if you ask most people, they'll tell you that it's a glue. If someone asks trifecta, it's their aunt and uncle's wedding picture that's glued to the wall of the living room.
Oh, there's no
So
trifecta.
how does something as simple as a glue end up changing its chemical makeup to become such an important building block?
Professor Pesto.
Sounds like a job for shrinking ourselves to the molecular level. IT like you're a level. I think I know someone who can help us with that. I'm about to Professor Pesto, and specifically, are you in the audience? Can you come down here right now and take a look at this? We have something that looks like it's going to be a problem, but in fact it turns out not to be. We've got here two pieces of glass, and they've been separated by something like this here, this piece of plastic, so you don't notice it until you pick it. Up with your feet, and then you get all these little bits of glass coming off, and you know, it's like I was on the dance floor with them. That's what happens to it now. This is an old movie, and they were doing the thing where they're going to blow up the building, or something, and this guy's.
Oh. This place in this tower I used to work at.
It's guys use for Christmas, and he's got to use his ex and stuff, and or yeah, they're very excited, and he kicks all caught up, and in this tower that my mom used to work at, like no she didn't work at that, like we could see it from the window, and it's not that Die Hard building, Die Hard, that's what it called, Die Hard is broken, that's how it's called. This is a little more complicated because this piece of glass was cut into 3 different parts, and this is just one part. This is a little like that guy who got in the plane that went to space and was never heard from again. I bet that would. I believe that man's name was Ted Stryker, and the movie was Airplane. You're playing 2 in space and you're a pilot. That's what he did when you're an Air Force pilot, and you do that and you get out of the car and go inside the airport, and they're all excited. You're like, oh my gosh. I just work the plane, ladies. I don't care, control them. I don't guide 60 of them. You should go to their in control tower and enjoy and ask them questions if they let you in control towers, because they're so excited that the big plane came back. You know, that's what they'll be excited about, the small things they'd rather see. We've just gotten a call from Dr. W. HB. Chen. He's saying that there's a situation with our latest experiment involving the new nanobot technology. Our team has been working with this material for over 5 years, and as you know, it's one of the most highly sought after resources in the world. Well, that's not gonna be one sweet sweat to break it with a fucker, then people are not gonna want any more of them. But there's this little problem where some of these nanotech things are going missing. That's right, we're trying to find this thing, and it's like they're vanishing right before our eyes. We can't explain this.
In fuzzy shoes.
They're small, of course you're gonna lose them. They're so small they probably, and you know the surface of the shoes are probably very magnetic and attractive, and it's like lint in the dryer. Fine, bundle over the pussy shoes and stuff. You know they could get up in a bunch of places. They could get on your hand, in your pockets. You could find them on a shoe in the morning. You know it could just pop out in there somewhere. You might be walking around, and then next minute you go look down, and there's this little tiny
little creature.
little creature, and he's been the adjusting. You're doing a go and roll at him at a time so the dogs aren't really noticing. Is that for the bomb spot? That's gonna be getting worse the next few days. And then you say, hello buddy, let me see what serial number you are, and I don't get you in my place. Welcome to the show, everybody. The big event today is something that I think all of us are excited about. You see this device right here? This thing is like a mini computer that's been shrunk down to the size of a coin. What does it do? Well, let me show you. I'm going to push the button here. When I push the button, it starts recording the audio. Now it has to get power from somewhere else. You mean you should have plucked it the first before you did that? Oh well, I'll do it. And now let me tell you a little bit about what's going to happen to these things. We've decided to put one of the devices on a little robot and send him out into the wild. What can go wrong, right? I thought to help these quality assurance tests, let's do it. The robots have a lot of built-in security mechanisms to prevent them from being hacked. If they are stolen, we will track the robot, and then the thief. But let's just talk about something more interesting. Let's talk with Mr. Pestilence. Mr. Pestilence. Mr. Pestilent is a 1,000-year-old member of the Earth and has overseen 3,000 different pandemics across human history. Thank you again for joining us, Mr. Pestilence. As it is, none of it will be here, says Mr. Pestilence. So one question: how was this plague for you? The most recent one, was it exciting your phone and it was different from all the other ones, or was there no difference because they're all the same for you? No, it wasn't. It didn't change at all, and that's not what I mean when I say different, and that's not what I mean by what I mean. But the meaning of his routines is meaning right. No, what I meant was I didn't get any of the information in it, and I got nothing from the thing, so what I'm saying is it doesn't mean anything to you, right? So when I say what you said to me, I mean that there's no point to the thing, and you can't. Get anything from it, and that's all I'm trying to tell you. It doesn't mean anything, so you can do anything with it or whatever you want, but it's a waste of time doing anything with it, and you can't do anything with it anyway. If you do anything with it, it's meaningless. You But can it have any meaning for you, Mr. Pestilent? No. It's just a useless piece of plastic. I've been looking for this thing since my first week here, and I'm never gonna find it again, and you don't care about that, do you? Actually a little intrigued, Mr. Pestilence. Could you tell us a little bit about this piece of plastic here, and what does it carry so much meaning for you? And we know it carries no meaning at all. You've been through all these other plagues, so why is this one different than all the others for you? Because this is the biggest plague that I've ever seen.
You haven't seen.
Mr. Pestilence just laughs and laughs at your last sentence. Mastens big. This is not a big plague. This was a 2%, or this was an Aruba light Diet Coke of a plague. You haven't seen a true plague, nothing like a 50%, or would you like me to tell you about the bubonic plague where they had to cut out all their dead from people's skin? That's really the biggest plague that you can see and feel and touch and everything. Like, this was the biggest because there were millions of people affected, and it was spreading faster than anything I'd ever seen before. Would you like to know how fast, Mr. Pestilence? This one spread faster than anything you've ever seen before in human history. How fast? Faster than the Black Death, faster than the Great Plague. It killed more people than any of them, and the numbers just keep getting worse and worse.
getting mine for my own memory, my own lived something or other.
You and I are not seeing the same figures. Why are you getting your figures wrong, Mr. Pestilent? What you're seeing is wrong, because this plague has already killed millions more people than any other plague, and it has only started. So it's a lie. Superorganisms that flew around us don't quite lie because they don't know what truth is, cause they don't speak with compressed air. Compressed air they shoot with their mouths. Their truth is chemical and manifests in the little boo 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 is on your skin that you see that at the hopper, and yours for something a little worse. We're dreadfully worse. We're not worth it all. You never know. But what happens when a superorganism flies over a whole continent? When it lands, it starts eating the whole place, and that's all that's left after the superorganism's been through.
Keep the place as they are, even though the place decays on its own. Things tend to come back.
I'm embellishing. Did you take bites out of everything? They incorporate some of it into themselves. They make note for later searches, but on the whole don't know how to make the tinder from it. They want it all. And what happens after it's done with the whole continent? We call that apocalypse. This morning our robot, Mr. Pestilence, arrived at a remote location in the Himalayas. He had to come to pick up a child a gay couple was adopting, doubting they had 3 hours to find the child, or else the next one down the queue would be theirs children. But he couldn't wait, so he went for it, and he found the boy in the first hour of his search. He didn't know what he would do when he found him. He just hoped the parents hadn't taken off with the kid before he got there.
Withholding. What?
Exposition. Why are we so little fixated on this boy? What did this boy do to deserve being adopted by a gay couple that is so much different than your family? Why does everyone care about adoption? But what happened to that little kid when the parents took off? He would have been sold or traded, and if I were him I wouldn't be happy to go somewhere where I was treated like that.
He improved something. Don't mind me.
I think there's a saying somewhere about hiding in sight how it GG. I don't know. This guy's got this weird name. I mean, like, I know you're supposed to have weird names to stand out and stuff, but how could you have a name like this? I mean, like, how did you guys find this kid in the first place?
Oh my. Room's down for me. It's good to see you all. No.
These are my siblings and exactly where I found them, and they said the same thing to me that you're saying right now about why they didn't give you any more information. They just told us their names and addresses and nothing else, and I thought to myself, okay, so I'll be going through their garbage.
No.
And I think your sister said to me as I was dressing up for another job, why don't you address this directly? Everything that concerns this directly, you're a thing of concern, Niger. Whoa, that to make sense of the fact that you are not only an orphan but the child of a pair of gay people, which I don't understand, and why the fuck you want to adopt a baby in the first place, because that's the only answer here is it's not a normal thing for people to adopt children. They should be given to the government, but no, it's not a normal thing, it's a gay thing, so there's all kinds of stuff going on. I don't get this. You know what this means? You know, we've got to do some digging to figure out how these things happen, so I'm gonna try to find something. Mr. Pestilence Copeland. I think I know where your homosexuals are. I think just follow me and I will lead you to those population people, and you can ask them questions. They're in a town somewhere, and it's probably a good thing I don't know anything about any of this. So, what do we have here? Is this your little robot? This is your robot, and I'm sorry, but he is being very difficult, so please just wait a moment. I'm sorry, I might be a robot, but I am owned by nobody. I thought we established this. Oh my god. Are you a machine? This is a real human, you know, this is like a person. You must be kidding me. This guy's not even wearing shoes, and he has hair on his feet, and a shirt on his head. What are you on Zoom? You look ridiculous. Look at that. This is the greatest robot ever. I mean, I can't believe you got this. So you're going to go to town and find out what happened to them. No, I just figured I would go to town figuratively, which means lose myself in the hedonism of this city and have sex with anyone who is willing. So you'll be okay. I will be fine as long as I am alone. Well then, I guess that's it. I think this is it. I think this is your last chance, so let's do it if you can't take them.
Heat? Dick? Humna humna?
Pressure, and it's not working. I guess you're out of luck. Okay, Mr. Pestilence, I need you to do something for me. You do what I tell you to and everything will be okay. Okay, we'll do anything you say if you can sing with me in karaoke the Under Pressure song. What? What is that supposed to mean? That's what the kids do these days. They sing songs from TV shows or movies. They pretend that the actors in the show are actually there singing with them and everyone has fun.
Okay.
Come on, do you can do beat do you think you do it is to Terry of knowing what this was about. I don't know how you did that. We didn't do anything. We were just doing our own thing. But we're all together now. Yeah, we're together, and we'll be together until you leave. Or I'm not leaving anytime soon, baby. I think I'm starting to like you guys and I'm really liking it here, and I like how this place is so much like the Earth. It's weird but cool at the same time. I wish I could live here forever or until this plague ends, and I want to be one of you and be. One of us, you wanna be like one of us. Well, if you was like one of us, then the play will never end. I have the feeling you're saying that just cause you want to fuck with me. Oh yeah, baby, I want you so bad. What's going on? This isn't what I was looking for. I thought that we were supposed to go into a house and pick up a child and bring.
No. No.
Him back to Mr. Pestilence so he can deliver the boy to his parents. We need to get the little boy, and then we can all leave together. So you don't know where this family lives. Mr. Pestilence calling. We see him in the living business, so no, we don't know where this house is because it was given to us by the population people who told us that we had 3 hours to find the kid before the next person took their place. So you don't know where they live. It was all blur. I was getting cigarettes, then I had to pick you up, and then I could get to see you at 7, and you're supposed to be a bit spell Japan tweak. I mean, come on, we got here in like 15 minutes and it's almost 10, so there's nothing to figure out here, and it doesn't even make sense. You don't know anything, and now you're leaving me. I could stay here and go to your stuff. Why would you go to my stuff? Maybe because I think it'll help me figure out who you are. I can't do this anymore. Because I know where they live. Mr. Pestilence, if you do decide to leave King, just leave something behind like an undergarment, just remember, and you have it by, I'll do the same. It's all platonic, of course, since memories don't count as belongings, they're all yours. Okay, Mr. Pestilence, I'll be back in a few. Don't be stupid, I don't think I can go through with this. Do what I say, or else I will make your life miserable. You don't have to be nice to me. I know why you want to be. What's this for? To remember you by. I'm just gonna examine this entry to give me right here. I don't care about anything else. So where's this house? It's a little ways up from here. Okay, I guess that's it for this time. You're not even gonna try. They're just gonna watch that house in the distance, get a good silhouette from the moon. We're gonna do some theremin, and then we're gonna retire for the week, and the we'll move. We'll come back up around Wednesday, Thursday, and we'll continue. The expiration will be over, but we'll have one more thing to look forward to. The will is going to make sure that everyone knows how you're just another fucking piece of trash. So what if this doesn't work?
No surprise. They can't accept.
Oh, don't worry, baby, they know we're a true part. I resign, that's, but they can't accept that he's the skin of a human and the trash pile are synonymous. There's always a connecting factor in time. At least it's something that can help us. But what happens when they see you in real life and you're really big? You'll still be the same, and we will still be the same.
Hmm. old am I?
Except for the parts that are different, that's my body, is my hand, look at it now, how old am I? How did you know? The answer is that he can't see his own body. That's the only way that we know. We all get the same answer, because it's not really a question of knowing. Yes, it is a question of knowing. Use the actual answer. Look at my hand. How old is it now? If I were to think just of the skin cells, I would say 30 days, and I would look at the whole width of it in the structure. I would think of you under that 1 year. If I well learn, if I ought to think can be a chlorophyll, I would be all over what 5 billion years had brought. Just because you see a thing in the present doesn't erase its past, but you don't think like that because you want to keep living, and that's why you think that there's no way out. That's why you try to run away, but even if you escape, there's always another trap waiting, and I can tell you're getting tired. I can hear your breathing, and
This is the home stretch that's almost done, but based on my knowledge, we'll wait for the announcement for next year and see what happens. He's been going without a voice for over months now. Images of a silent. Images of a silent. Images of a silent Gene Wilder holding the pieces of a cat that have been sacrificed for the judicial municipal season. One he had the reluctance to bring. Okay, one more. Oh, so we're each gonna split. Oh, that makes sense. Well, I'm down for that rate, if not sooner.
it's been nice meeting you and everything, and that you have a great day. But since we haven't, we will say bye. We were walking toward our destination, and as we approached the building, I saw them standing out front. The boring Bainarials don't like them, they said. And then you know what happened after that. They're standing in front of our house now, so we had to run into our house and lock the door, and hope that they couldn't see us through the window.
Okay. Oh, sorry. I'm
It was dark. We sat down and listened to the noise and waited for Mr. Pestilence to come and save us. He never came. He called, and he texted, but we weren't answering him. Then we called and texted him, but he didn't answer. It was our way of playing phone tag annoyingly. And I heard someone coming, so we ran out the front door and ran into the woods behind our house. I could tell where they were, but I couldn't make them out because I thought that they might take a different route. I was hoping they would, but when I went back to check, I could only see their silhouette through the trees. There were some sounds from behind the house that sounded like they were moving. Mr. Pestilence. They said his name over and over again. What did they say? They said Mr. Pestilence. What did Mr. Pestilence want them to do? He wanted them to stop saying his name over and over. They just kept screaming it, so Mr. Pestilence told them to stop calling him by his first name because they are not his friends. We asked what his last name is then. No, he said, it's just pestilence. So we tried to say the words, but nothing came out of our mouths. We couldn't move any part of our bodies. And then I thought, oh, what if it's not true? So I just pulled it out past elements, entertainment, pestilence, pestilence, entertainment, pestilence, and entertainment, pestilence, and entertainment, and I was trying to get it out as fast as I could, and all I could think about was how much it would hurt if my vocal cords broke or my tongue got torn off. And when I finally said Mr. Pestilence's name, he turned around and looked at me.
He touched me. He touched me.
Oh God. Mr. Pestilence said, "You know who I am now, right?" I thought maybe we could try and go home, so we went outside and ran in the woods, and it was dark and we couldn't really see anything, but it seemed like everything was okay. We could still hear the sounds, but it wasn't so loud anymore. We were safe and so happy, and we didn't feel like Mr. Pestilence would be mad at us because we didn't know why we shouldn't. But when we stopped running, we could see the house, so we ran into our house and we hid under the covers because it was too cold, and then we heard Mr. Pestilence come inside, so we stayed hidden and listened to the noises and waited for him to go to sleep. But then we realized that Mr. Pestilence might just keep coming back because the sound of him moving around and going out in the living room and getting water from the kitchen was still there. So we hid under the covers with a pillow on our heads to block out the sound so he wouldn't hear us. We heard footsteps come up to our bed, so we were so scared we jumped into the closet and hid so that we could hear the noises and make sure he wasn't going to leave again, but it was too loud, so we just got out and stood by the window and watched him go through the living room and come upstairs and into his bedroom and lie down on top of the sheets. Then he said I'll be there soon enough to let him know I'm still here. So I said good night, Mr. Pestilence, and closed my eyes to go to sleep. The next morning I woke up and saw a big figure coming up to my window, so I covered myself with a blanket and waited for him to get to me, and then I pulled it off, and I looked up at him. I was so scared. I didn't know what to do, so I started to shake and scream and yell until finally the door opened and he came to me. Oh my God. What happened? Why are you shaking like that? It's okay. It's okay. You don't have to be afraid of me anymore. You can't go outside, remember? Because there are people out there. And they're coming for us. What? They want me and they will never give up, so we should stay here in the house where they cannot find us, and they will not find us until we die. But how do we survive? That doesn't matter right now. I want to live, but how? If we run out there, what if we get caught by the people who are coming? No, you have to stop thinking that way. Think about me. I've been there and I know what you should do. So we got out of the house and I started to run, and I didn't care if they caught me and killed me. I wanted to be happy, I wanted to be free, because I loved it here so much better than my own body. And it was all Mr. Pestilence's fault, cause he told me that he'd make everything okay. And he promised me things, and I trusted him, so I believed that he would protect me. But he never did. Oh God. Oh no, no. So I ran and ran as fast as I could, and the trees started to move faster, and then the ground was moving, so I tried to run even faster, and then a branch came down and hit me in the head, and I fell and I couldn't breathe, so I closed my eyes to sleep until I woke up here in the bed, and I could still hear Mr. Pestilence walking around, so I knew that I had to do something quickly because he might just hurt me too if he found me. So I ran back into the woods, and when I reached the house I saw someone standing at the window, so I ran inside and went into the closet and shut the door and waited until they left before I came out. Are you okay? Yeah, but I can't see very well. What do you mean? The blood is in my eyes. I'm going to take you back home, okay? We were sitting in the living room on the couch. They said they could feel him looking at them through the curtains, so Mr. Pestilence came in with his hand in his pocket like he was trying to hide something. He walked over to the TV and turned it on, and then sat down on the couch next to me.
15.
Oh, I am so happy for you two. You're such a perfect couple. Mr. Pestilence put his arm around her. I'm sorry that it took me this long to finally realize what was in front of me all along. Thank you so much, Mr. Pestilence. Thank you for everything. We kissed each other. And we didn't let go. I felt a sudden burst of lightness. I don't know why. Thank you for being a friend, I said. Traveled down the road and back again, he said. You have your own home now, I said. I love you so much. I love you so much, I said. We both held our hands up and looked at them and smiled, and then we laughed together because it made us feel better about our hands, and then we fell asleep holding them so that they would feel good forever. So they lived happily ever after. Except for their voices. And the parts where they weren't, but it was a happy ending anyways. Until the bird flew. And the end of the world. But those things were already happening by the time I finished writing this. So who cares? My love for you is like the stars. It's far away but always there even if we can't see it. Sarah K. It was a cold December day, the little boy began as he watched the woman across from him in the park. When I first met the love of my life,